She's the sweetest person and she prayed for you.
Wayne DeMario owns a guitar store in the Miami area, and to no one's surprise, he voted for Donald Trump and now regrets his vote.
There is a humanitarian crisis happening in Cuba as we speak. There's no fuel. There's no electricity. There's no trash pickup. Trash is piling up on the streets, meaning disease could start to spread at any moment.
I will vote for Donald Trump. ¿Qué? I am no criminal. I am no criminal.
Please, she does not deserve this. She's the sweetest person and she prayed for you.
A desperate plea to President Trump from a South Florida man fearing his life partner could be deported to Cuba at any moment. He reached out to our Christian De La Rosa to share his story and his remorse.
It's been 8 months. I didn't know a man could cry this much. I did not think that this would happen.
Wayne DeMario has been working overtime at a Southwest Miami-Dade guitar shop, trying to distract himself from his pain and regret.
I hate to see her going through this. She's my best friend.
His life partner of nearly 20 years, Yamile Alcantu, originally from Cuba, ICE detained her back in June.
8 months that she's been taken. I call it kidnapped because it basically is.
He says it happened during what they thought was just another immigration check-in.
They grabbed her, put her in shackles and chains.
She'd been checking in annually, as so many do, hoping to fix her status. She lost her legal residency and got a deportation order back in 2008 after a traffic stop.
They go through her purse, and then they dump the purse out, and 3 Xanax pills fall out.
But in those years, he says, they didn't think much of it.
Cuban's not going to get deported, so don't worry about it.
Today, DHS has her listed among the worst of the worst, a criminal arrested for dangerous drugs and possession. Wayne feels it's a slap in the face.
I didn't vote for this, but I definitely voted Republican.
He says both were staunch supporters of President Trump.
When you said I didn't vote for this, what did you think you had voted for?
I really thought this was just going to be something organized, but it's obviously not. They just blanket everybody.
Alcantu calling from her detention facility in Louisiana. She says in her 8 months detained, she has not seen an immigration judge. She stresses she's not a criminal, and her biggest fear, being deported, especially to Cuba.
There are going to be people out there who hear your story, hear other stories like this, and say, well, you voted for this.
Yeah, I've heard that from people.
What do you tell those people?
I'm sorry. I didn't know that this was going to happen. This is about human beings. It's not about left or right. It's about right and wrong.
Cue the music. Yeah. What's the crown? Keep it great. What's it about? I will vote to be deported. Oh my God, I will vote to be deported.
You feel proud to be American.
Raise your hand, God bless America. Hey.
I will vote for Donald Trump.
Get that dance. You better get that dance.
I will vote.
Raise your hands, come on.
For Donald Trump.
You gonna vote? I need to switch it up. Oh my God, I will vote. I will vote to deport my wife. The leopards continue to eat your face. She prayed for Trump, huh? And the way we doing Cuba right now, because of what this orange buffoon is doing in Venezuela, it is crippling Cuba right now. Because Cuba got oil from Venezuela. They don't have gas. They don't have oil. They're in the dark. There's trash in the streets because there's no gas for the garbage trucks. I mean, it's terrible over there. And she's gonna get deported. This is what happens when you don't listen to black people. 86% of us told y'all that this was going to happen. But of course, you had to touch the stove. Oh, it's not gonna be me. It's not gonna be me until it's you. Remember, diversity equal power. We can change the world when we're together and protect black women. Until next time. Oh my God, I will vote. I will vote to be deported.
If you're still wondering why anybody would still support Donald Trump is treating the people that MAGA doesn't like just like MAGA wants. MAGA wants Trump to discriminate on immigrants, on everybody of color, anybody that wasn't born in the United States. MAGA doesn't want anybody to be having free food and free healthcare, although they're the ones that are mostly on it. In other words, just for them, not for you kind of mentality. People that still support Trump, it's because Trump is treating the people that MAGA dislikes horribly. That is why MAGA loves and still continues to support Trump. It's their racism. It's very, very difficult to understand Latinos for Trump. Then there's the Stockholm syndrome. I don't know. Where you fall in love with the oppressor. I honestly don't. I can't explain those people. Like the billionaires, I get it. Trump is making billionaires a lot of money right now. He's making himself a lot of money, and a lot of those billionaires too. So hell yeah, go Trump, right? But the Latinos for Trump, what the hell? Are you kidding? All your people, and especially if you're of dark skin. Like I don't get it. So hard to explain to a sane person why that would still be happening to this day.
There is a humanitarian crisis happening in Cuba as we speak. There's no fuel. There's no electricity. There's no trash pickup. Trash is piling up on the streets, meaning disease could start to spread at any moment. The hospitals are not running at their capacity. They don't have staff that is showing up due to the working conditions, and some just can't get there because there's no fuel. There's a blockade happening by our government. And the Cubans for Trump, I have to ask, are y'all cool? Are y'all okay with what's happening? Because as I recall, just a couple of weeks ago, y'all were at Mar-a-Lago partying it up, enjoying yourselves, having a ball while this was happening. It's not funny.
ICE is buying incinerators, and now we have proof. A Navy contract was just released showing the Navy is managing the construction of a massive network of immigration detention centers across the nation. And what's included in the contract is extremely disturbing. It describes tent cities that can hold 10,000 people each, with a specific provision for biohazard incinerators under the medical and death section. That means they are specifically planning for death and choosing to burn the evidence right there on site. The reason DHS is paying the Navy $55 billion for this is so they can get this nationwide network of giant detention centers with infrastructure for handling death built as quickly as possible. And they tried to do it quietly by updating the Navy's existing contract to make this deal instead of creating a new contract specifically for this. Here are my...
I think, when people say like, oh, we deserve like all these horrible things, all this pain, it's like, hold on, like he never campaigned saying, okay, all the good people who, worked really hard and are not even undocumented. That's the point, though, that some people are not even illegal. They're not undocumented. They have paperwork in process. They're showing up to court. They have asylum. They have TPS. They have all these different statuses. So that's, by definition, not illegal if you have a different status. They never said they were getting rid of those people.
Almost everybody in that video has been deported.
Forget what was on the screen. The most offensive part of that was them trying to keep the beat. Is that how the East Wing got demolished? Shout out to all the subscribers and the members here on the channel. Don't forget to like the video. My name is Reese Waters, and I'm troubled. Now, there I was watching the Olympics.
The women's relay used to be 4x5K. That's what they contested.
Okay, that's a lie. There I was not watching the Olympics. I tried. I did try. First of all, the speed skating is fire because it's just like track. But you know how mad I would be if I spent my whole life becoming a world-class speed skater, and they giving out the same medals for ice roller derby? I mean, really.
Well, they don't give out style points in short track skating, but surely you should get a 10 for that.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to race around the rink, but you get to push and shove, and because we're moving 30 miles an hour on ice, most of y'all not going to make it. But if you do make it around, we got a medal for you. I would be even more mad than if I spent my life training to be a pairs figure skater and got the same medal as ice dancing. You know, I saw an ice dancer at King of Diamonds one time. You know what? Never mind. Go ahead. You got it. You really not going to say nothing about snowboard cross? You really going to sit there and not say nothing about snowboard cross? And that's why you lost your voice? Huh? You out here sounding like a substitute teacher because you yelled so loud during the snowboard cross. Woke the baby up and everything. Let's be honest. Snowboard cross is fire. Snowboard cross is fire. They should change the name of Winter Olympics to speed skating and snowboard cross. It will be better. Well, here's why I'm troubled. Angela Vergara, Colombian Trump supporter, far-right congresswoman, was celebrating when ICE detained her own compatriots in the U.S. But 18 days ago, ICE kidnapped her son, and today she no longer finds the cruelty she applauded to be amusing.
Que no han podido regresar a su país, que necesitan la intervención urgente del Estado. Es por eso que hoy como madre les pido ayuda.
Yeah, it's all fun and games until I'm affected. Now, we've definitely seen that before.
Pennsylvania voted for Trump. We've got a little bit of a FAFO moment. Actually, it's times 2.
John and Lisa Ronka own Cutter's Bike Shop. Their teenage daughter rides competitively. Sometimes gets injured. They get their health insurance through the Obamacare exchange, and their renewal letter just came.
It's going to be triple
this year.
which equates to double the cost of what we pay for our mortgage for our house. So we can't keep that plan, to say the least.
Healthcare costs going up. Their profit margin already down. Why? Is this a tariff question?
Every
yes,
2 to 3
Pennsylvania voted for Trump. These are small business owners losing their health care and prices going up because of tariffs. We are now in the find out stage for many Trump supporters. If you did not know, 45% of the users of the Affordable Care Act are Republicans. 27% of farmers used to use Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act. Those extra credits are gone. Trump supporters, FAFO, especially in states that voted for Trump.
However, one thing I always do before reporting on stories like this is go to confirm the basic facts so I know exactly what I'm dealing with. And boy, that was a rabbit hole. Here we get Trump ally's son chained by ICE. Colombian lawmaker Angela Vergara.
Please keep your mouth shut about what is currently going on in Cuba. The narrative that you guys are creating about the U.S. embargo being the reason Cubans are suffering is absolutely disrespectful.
She's saying, and I respect that, okay, unless you live in Cuba. Yeah, I don't. So I wouldn't know. But what I do know is that you voted for Trump. And guess who they're blaming right now for what's happening in Cuba? Now, no, it is not quick little research tells me, no, it's not just the US that is causing this. They have had a corrupt government and, they've always kind of dealt with that in Cuba. But it does say that the current crisis is connected to an intensifying standoff with the US. So the government has recently tightened sanctions and blocked or pressured countries that used to send to Cuba, which is the oil. They don't have any fuel right now. These sanctions include threats on tariffs on nations that ship fuel to Cuba. Who is doing that? Who do you think is doing that? So no, I'm not very well versed in this. And no, I don't live in Cuba, but I know that you don't like that people are telling you that you voted for Trump and you're getting this because of your vote. And it is to your homeland. They are suffering because of your vote and you don't want to hear it. We aren't making things up. We are seeing it. We're researching it. We're seeing it happen. Yes, they can both exist. there was a corrupt government, and now because of your vote, he is causing a lot of this right now. Sorry.
Please keep your mouth shut.
And look who we have here. A glory of Cuba, the great artist, the great singer, the rapper Michael Marichal. You've heard of him, right? No? Well, neither have I. Very well known at home at mealtime, but not anymore, because look what he did to his girlfriend. I have the report for you, but stay until the end to see why we are making this dedication.
Revolution promised.
Michael Marichal, the Cuban rapper known for his criticism of the Havana regime, is now behind bars in Miami.
Mr. Marichal, Your Honor finds probable cause for the crime you are charged with.
According to the arrest report, he faces a charge of harassing his ex-partner, whom, according to the report, he accuses of infecting him with a venereal disease. Sosa add todetas. Marichal was arrested last Wednesday near this gym, where he frequently trains as shown on his social media. According to the police report, the rapper sent dozens of text messages and emails to his ex-partner, accusing her of infecting him with a sexually transmitted disease. Official information also indicates that Marichal communicated with his ex's children.
So the leader the leader of Latinos for Trump, Cuban edition. Hector Luis Valdez Cocho. Yeah, he's been detained by ICE. I will vote for Donald Trump. The wildest part about this is Donald Trump was very clear that he's going after criminals, even though we all know that that's a lie. We knew it was a lie when he said it. Did he think that didn't mean him? May this level of delusion that made y'all trust and believe in this man and trust and believe that your proximity made you one of them never find me.
Wait, you don't love me. Yeah, whatever that bitch said. I forgot to give y'all a little bit of news today, and this is what I found out. Y'all found out some other shit posted on your page. The fuck? Anyhow, listen. So, Agent Orange said that he now has a hub for this mass deportation, and that first hub is going to be Dade County in Miami, baby. And you know what that means? Because I was happy inside, because that means those Cubans, they going back, baby. Because you know they think they white. They think the proximity to white is white, baby. And they know they always voted against their own interests, baby, because they love being in the proximity of whiteness, baby. You going back. Huh? You going back. Those incentives they had for Cubans when your little zapatos touched the American soil, bitch, and you was considered an American once you made it to land, bitch, we rolling that back. Just like Walmart rolling back that DEI, we rolling back that too. You understand me? We're going to get you the fuck up out of here. So, ain't no better place to start than Miami. So, Agent Orange, gracias, bitch. I appreciate the information. We will be using it. And if you need any help, I know there's several of us, bitch. Don't mind rounding them up. You understand me? Okay. Listen, also, now we already know the Warhol Waltons at Walmart. They're rolling back their DEI initiative. Fuck them. That's why we gonna make their life a living hell, bitch. We gonna watch those prices roll down. You understand me? I'm waiting for that to crash and crumble. Let me tell you where you should be shopping. Aldi's done came out and was like, we embrace DEI. We embrace inclusivity. That's what we want to hear. You understand me? That's where we should be spending our money, our dinero. You understand me? In the end, though, that's where we should be spending our money. Also, you know what? Another plus for them is they don't got those red dyes and big chemicals. You know, RFK, something. I'm gonna roll back. I don't want my food. All you know. Well, fuck them. You can't roll back shit with that type of voice, bitch. Sound like you got lung cancer, baby, and emphysema. You understand me? Mesothelioma in your motherfucking lungs. I don't want to hear shit from you. Okay? You gonna be in charge of somebody's health? Please, bitch. I know you loud hoe. Anywho, they don't got a lot of chemicals in their food because it's not allowed over there. I think they are from Germany. I think that store's from Germany. Fact check it, bitch. I told you don't follow me blindly, ho. Huh? Do some homework. Also, if you don't have an Aldi's, go to Lidl. Lidl. L-I-D-L. I don't know if that's a sweetened one. Bitch, fact check that. Follow those breadcrumbs, ho. The hell? That's the news for today. Love ya. Some of you hoes, not a lot of y'all, it's only a few. Anyway, hold okay, amen.
Vote for Donald Trump. I love my freedom. I will vote for Donald Trump.
3 days later.
Tuesday morning, a Bolivian woman and her children taken into custody. Her Cuban husband telling reporters his wife and 2 children were taken, and the youngest, who is a year old, is American.
Please tell us what we need to legally do. We entered the country legally. We don't have problems. We are not delinquents.
They're taking workers away from their cities, and they will not be silent.
We're not criminals or anything. We're here legally.
Now he's vowing to get an attorney and fight for their release, and what he wants is support.
I want the Latin community to see this and give their support or help us.
You motherfucking Cubans who voted for Donald Trump think I wasn't coming. You just got your motherfucking 30-day notice, your eviction notice up out of the goddamn United States. And no, I don't have anything against Cuban people. Who I do have something against are the Cubans that voted for motherfucking Donald Trump. You voted against your own goddamn people and yourselves. And no, I have no sympathy. I want to be standing there waving a motherfucking American flag when your motherfucking asses get the fuck up out of here. Marco Rubio, your own, has made an agreement with the Arab president of El Salvador to send your motherfucking asses over there. Get your ass up out of here. You got 30 goddamn days to get the fucking stepping. They're not even sending your motherfucking asses to Gitmo. They're sending your motherfucking asses to El Salvador, to the Center for Confinement and Motherfucking Terrorism, and you haven't even committed a motherfucking crime, but they don't give a fuck. They just want you to fuck up out of here. Remember the song Donald Trump? You guys made a whole motherfucking song about Donald Trump, and that motherfucker is doing you a disservice. All he needed was your goddamn votes. So those of you who could actually vote voted against your own goddamn people, and you'll be somewhere on here shedding your goddamn crocodile tears.
Hey everybody, hear me good when I say this. So even though the White House has decided that they are just not going to celebrate Black History Month, right? What I have decided to do is take my wins where I find them, okay? So let's just talk about this. I am Afro-Latino by way of my people being from Louisiana. They are Spanish Creoles out of Louisiana, right? My oldest Spanish ancestor left Spain about 5 generations ago and came to Natchez, Mississippi, right? And then they came over to Alexandria, Louisiana, which, if you know anything about Louisiana history, Alexandria was the seat of Spanish Louisiana, right? So my roots are deeply Afro-Spanish. Not only are they Afro-Spanish, let's think about it like this. So when people think about Black history and they think about how Black people in the Americas, how we are connected through a triangular trade, let's just keep it real about where my DNA really does trace back from. So we could go back to Africa, we could look at the Congo, we could look at Nigeria, we could look at all of those areas where my ancestors come from, specifically the Yoruba, specifically the Bikongo people, specifically people from Dakar, so the Jollof people, right? The Akan people, that's the African side. All of those people that I just named, just to name a few, I didn't say the people of Dahomey because I have some of that too, but all of them, for the most part, were taken to Spanish colonies. One of those Spanish colonies, for me, is Cuba. And they plan on deporting a bunch of white Cubans from Florida that voted for Trump, right? They're deporting them. Because when those white Cubans left Fidel Castro's Cuba, they all landed on the shores here and got citizenship and still practice white supremacy. They think they're white because they came from a very racist regime. So if you look at what slavery was like in Cuba, it was one of the worst slaveries you could have seen. All slavery was bad. Even if I was to get into what happened in Haiti, like when you think about what was going on with Haitians and sugar fields and ants biting you and the shears of those sugar canes cutting you every day, that was hell on earth. But here's the justice for me, the small victory. So when I think about those Cubans that are about to be deported, those very white Cubans were the ones that voted for Trump. When they get deported and go back to Cuba, they are going back to a very black Cuba. Now, not only that, let's keep it real. They are trying to fight for political asylum, and they're not getting political asylum because there's no political asylum to be talked about over there at this point. See, you're not at risk of anything yet. Just like the other migrants who are being sent back to their countries, they're not at risk of anything yet. But you will atone when you are put on those planes and you are sent back to Cuba. And you have to face the people that you treated horribly. I am thinking about the ancestor Lukumi, who basically started the first slave rebellion and uprising in Cuba. That was a black woman that basically said, we ain't taking this no more. And now you got to go back to that. I am grateful for my ancestors. I'm grateful for where I am today. And when they get deported, that is racial reckoning, in my opinion. Your ancestors you are the descendants that tried to escape what your ancestors did. You didn't want equity. You didn't want equality. You wanted black people to stay subservient. And those days are over.
Do you remember this little gem, the cool guy? Do you remember this video I showed you?
You're one of mine. Donald Trump, you're one of mine. Donald Trump, you're one of mine. Donald Trump, you're one of mine. Hey, what I'm going...
It turns out that the chulo has a very important reason to admire, and like Donald Trump, he is also a criminal. His real name is Abel Diaz Rodriguez. Juan is Cuban, and at this moment he is detained because he is not only illegally in the United States, and now I will explain why I use the word illegal, but also in 2017 he was found guilty of attempted murder and carrying deadly weapons. Quite a gem, isn't it? Now, do you understand why he's in love with Donald Trump? Well, between them, they love each other. This man is in Dona, it has a deportation order since 2018, and they don't know where to send him because Cuba doesn't want him. Imagine with all those tattoos, who would want him? But there's something much worse. He is a member of a famous gang called the Latin Kings. And now it makes sense why this man shows off with gold bling and Rolls Royce and everything else. He is a criminal. So when they decide what to do with him, they will have to send him to any other country, including Mexico. Well, he will be fine there because, you know, drug trafficking and everything else. But this is the typical case of why a person loves Donald Trump. I'm not saying that everyone who admires Donald Trump is a criminal, but most of them are. And this, what do you think? I look forward to your comments and sharing.
The devastation in Cuba, I want you to keep in mind that nearly 70% of Cuban Americans voted for Donald Trump. But here's the thing, they don't actually care that their family and everybody back there are being devastated. They don't. They didn't like life there, and so they'd rather see it burn. But what they refused to acknowledge is the fact that the United States is the reason Cuba is in the position that it's in. U.S. businesses essentially ran Cuba prior to Fidel Castro and the people of Cuba revolting against it and taking the government. And JFK refused to go in there and stop it and take the country back. He said he wasn't going to use any troops for it. They tried the Bay of Pigs, which failed, and JFK wouldn't follow through on it. And ever since then, the United States has had its thumb on the economy of Cuba. It's not about socialism or communism. It's about maybe ego and, hey, if you're going to go against what we want, we're just going to make your life fucking miserable. And they did it for decades and continue to do it to this very day. Donald Trump is just willing to kill the people in Cuba in order to get the Cuban government to step down. Other presidents wanted them to suffer and then blame the leader of Cuba. And Donald Trump's like, nah, fuck them all. And Cubans voted for this. They voted for exactly this. There's a Cuban that comes up on my live, and I'm sure he is celebrating the destruction and famine that's now going to be taking place in Cuba. The disease is running rampant. This guy is probably going to be celebrating in his house with some beers. And the reason he's celebrating, not necessarily going to be because the people are being harmed, but because inevitably the government of Cuba will fall. But what those Cubanos don't understand is that they don't like them either. They were useful for something for them, and that's why they pandered to them, right? The moment that Cuba turns, the U.S. businesses are going to go in there and, like the parasites that they are, they're going to fucking just demolish whatever's there. They're going to strip out all of the culture. They're going to build their fucking high-rise buildings. They're going to build a paradise for a bunch of rich people. It'll be like the Epstein Island 2.0, because it's going to be a bunch of rich billionaires who probably most of were part and parcel to the Epstein files. These people will all be in there and they'll be like, I'm an investor. I'm creating jobs. But the reality is that the billionaires have so much fucking money, they don't know what to do with it. So what do? You go and you purchase entire countries and you use the military and or the economic power of the United States to do it. That's what they're doing. And they'll turn it into their billionaire's paradise, and it'll turn into a fucking a place where nobody can afford to go to because it's a gorgeous country. And then what resources they can have, they'll have the people of Cuba who are still going to be treated like shit. They're still going to be paid on, crappy wages, and they'll still be out in the fields working the tobacco, making the cigars, and finally you'll be able to have your cigars from Cuba in the United States, and then everybody's going to be like, oh, the Cubans are the best. The Cuban cigars are the best. This country has been disgusting since its birth, and Cubans fucking love it. Cubans love it, so keep that in mind. They're watching their own family perish, about to perish from diseases, from starvation. The babies will be malnourished, and they'll be celebrating right alongside Donald Trump. And then once all of that is said and done, could be 20 years, could be 50 years, once it's all built up in the name of the billionaire class, they'll turn on the Cubans that are here because they have pigmentation in their skin. They aren't white enough, okay? And at this point, I don't see that the world is going to resolve this YT issue. We may be seeing the eradication of pigmentation in the world. I mean, Europe already basically did it. I mean, they wiped out 50 to 60% of populations. Even in the 1900s, they did this. And so they'll continue to eradicate people. But because people that aren't from this European culture or mindset of supremacy, they don't operate in the same way. They have morals, they have integrity. They don't operate that way. It's just not part of their culture, but it's certainly part of the European culture. And that's all this is. It's a continuation of what this was created as. It's a continuation of how Australia came to be. It's a continuation of fucking South Africa.